Hi, and welcome to this lesson 4 of section 2 of the Grow Your Own Marketing Strategy. Remember, in this section, the preparation section, we are laying the foundations for the next stage of when we start building the marketing strategy itself. And in this lesson, we're going to cover the value proposition. So what am I going to show you? I'm going to show you a simple way to create a value proposition. Why and what is it? Well, you need to be crystal clear in your own head why your customer will buy from you rather than the alternative supplier. So your value proposition is essentially what value you are offering your customer in return for cash or money or whatever else you take as payment. Okay, so as I say, you need to be crystal clear in your own head why your customer will buy from you rather than the alternative supplier. And we touched on value propositions before in lesson 1 when we were doing the business model canvas, but this time we are concentrating specifically on value propositions for the customer personas that you've just created. And there's a different value proposition for each one, but we'll cover that in a second. So 3 points to note. The first one is that this should be relatively easy to do. That's why this is not a very long video and not a very long lesson, because when it's easy to do, then it is easy to describe. The second thing is, please remember that these are positive statements about your business, not negative ones about the competition. Okay, so you're talking positively about your business and what you can do for that customer, not negatively about what your competition might be able to do. And as I just mentioned, each customer has their each customer persona has their own value proposition. Now, this could be really difficult. A lot of people do this, and they end up with great big statements, and they use them as corporate statements, etc. It's not. Keep it simple, stupid, as always. Particularly if this is the first marketing strategy that you've produced. Okay, and so all I want you to do is ask yourself a series of questions. And the first 3 are as follows. What does your business do? And answer that in no more than 3 seconds, in 3 sentences. You can do it in 3 seconds if you want, but no more than 3 sentences. Then the second question is, what are the 3 most probable alternatives? And then in brief, who is the customer in this case? And it should be one of your customer personas. And then write down those answers on a piece of paper, or you will see in the assets listed with this lesson that there are a couple of examples of how else you might do it in Excel and all that stuff. But primarily, to start off with, just simply write down the answers either in longhand or in a Word doc. Then you're going to ask yourself 2 more questions. And the first one of those is, what is the first thing that you can do that gives this customer the greatest pleasure? Now, bear in mind, this is just this customer, for this customer persona, not all customers. So what is the first thing that you can do that gives this customer the greatest pleasure? And secondly, what proof do you have that you can and will deliver this? Write down those answers and then do it again. But this time, what is the second thing that you can do that gives this customer great pleasure? And again, what proof do you have that you can deliver this? And write down those second answers. So very simple. You've now essentially asked yourself 5 questions, and the second and questions 6 and 7 are you've asked yourself twice, i.e. these 1 and 2 on this page. Finally, based on those answers alone, so go back and look at the work that you've done on that page. Write 1 sentence why that persona should buy from you. That's 1 sentence why that persona should buy from you. Now, there are lots of different ways to define a value proposition for different purposes and to create value propositions. As I said, if you're creating it for ICI or the Ford Motor Company, very different. Okay. But for the purposes of this course and where we're trying to get you to in your marketing strategy, this basic exercise will suffice. Now, once you've done it, you might want to go back to your business model canvas and update it now. But bearing in mind that the value proposition listed in that business model canvas is for the business. But now that you've gone through this thought exercise, you might want to update that. And finally, please don't forget to share your value propositions in the course newsfeed. Okay, again, people coming back with comments is usually a really helpful thing. Now, it might be that you want to ignore those comments or counter them by saying, well, you're not the persona that I was looking for. But actually, it's a really good, useful exercise to get feedback on those bits, because they will quite often have seen things that you haven't, that you might be misrepresented in some way or other. So do share in the course newsfeed, because remember, we're all helping each other grow here. So, as I say, create a value proposition for each of your customer personas. That's your task. Usually easiest to do it in Word. Keep each one to one sentence. And use the files in the Grow Your Own Marketing Strategy lesson number 4 in section 2 for reference. Note that when you're doing it, you look at the assets that are there, the swipe files of I think that they done in Excel, that you can do 2 up at a time. As I say, share your work by creating a post in the course newsfeed. Okay, thank you very much. That was short and sweet, hopefully. Look forward to seeing you in the next lesson, which will be the last lesson in this section. And essentially, we're just going to sum up on what you've done and how you can use it going forward. Hope that's been useful. Look forward to seeing you there. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.